Alassane, March 19th. Let's see. A lot of times when we come out to a property, we see some factors on the property which indicate that the areas of infestation may be somewhat man-made or contributed to by the homeowner. In this property, we see just that kind of thing. The infestation isn't random. A lot of times we'll see it in the shady areas, in the bedded areas. They're interested in the beds, not so much in this grassy portion on the lighted side of the house. Same thing in these areas. When we get into this part of the property by the right side fence, the fence shading is a lot of the area where they're having the infestation. It isn't limited to this area. What we tend to do is we look for areas that may indicate a reduced level of soil drying or respiration. And in these shaded areas where we're seeing it, a lot of times we'll see that maybe it's at the very bottom of the hill where there's all the runoff. That isn't the case. Or else in the front yard or these areas that have the most sun exposure, that isn't the case. The areas that appear to be having the most infestation are these shaded areas. So the indication there is that when they're watered, it appears as though they're drying slower with less respiration and contributing to an elevated population of worms. Now, that's not an exact science, but my suggestion is to monitor this. When you're irrigating, make sure that your irrigation heads, rather than having a thin stream of water shooting out into these areas, make sure that they're set so that you're having an even application of moisture. That way you're not having all of this area watered with the volume that is intended for this area, having very dry right next to very wet. When you have shaded areas and hilly areas which have all of these aspects in a lawn, those are very susceptible to infestation simply because of the inconsistencies in moisture. Overly watered or soil that doesn't get enough time to dry out between irrigations tends to be a worm factory. In an infested neighborhood, that's murder. On the flip side, areas that tend to be get shot over and have very dry, completely different dietary element, but high concentration as well. So having an even application of moisture, controlling that moisture throughout the changing season